Right, take a moment to have a read of the question. Always important to highlight key words. So, 80 people are asked about the 4 models they would like to buy, and these models are A, B, C and D. Now you see you've got the car models and a number of people here, and the factory is going to make 40,000 cars next year, and it says work out how many Model B cars the factory should make next year. So this is like a survey of 80 people. We're looking at B. So that's 15 people out of what? That's 15 people out of 80 want to get car model B. That's our starting point. So what is that as a fraction? Let's simplify that by dividing by 5 and dividing by 5. So we get as a fraction 3/16. So that's the proportion of people like car model B. The factory is going to make 40,000 cars. So we want 3/16 as a proportion times 40,000 cars to know how many Model B cars the factory should make. So we can get that to 120,000. This is non-calc over 16. Now if you're not great with long division, we can simplify that fraction. Let's half top and bottom. So you get 60,000 over 8. If you're not happy, you can jump to bus stop method, but if you're not happy with that, carry on going. That's 30,000 over 4. And some of you might jump to the number 7,500 if you can work that out, or use bus stop. I'll show you bus stop. Falls into 3 is 0, carry the 3, falls into 3 is 7, remainder 2, falls into 20 is 5, and you've got the 0, 0. Alternatively, you can carry on simplifying to 15,000 over 2, and that is also 7,500. Hopefully that makes sense. Now pause the video and give 5 and 6 a go, but read the question carefully. Okay, hopefully you've worked that out and you've got an answer of 6,000. So just going through this, worked out that Model D is 12 over 80. I simplified this fraction by dividing by 2, and you can jump a step, divide straight by 4, 3/20. Just makes our numbers easier to work with. You don't have to do this, you could do this times 40,000 straight away up here, but this makes it a bit easier. Then you can see my steps. We get 120,000 over 20. We can cancel out these zeros here, and we know 12,000 divided by 2 is 6,000. Now Model C is 30 cars out of 80. That simplifies to 3/8 nicely. Do the same again. You can do bus stop here, or just carry on simplifying the fraction, because fraction is essentially like division, and you get an answer of 15,000. And that is 2 easy marks in your pocket. Hopefully that works out and you got that correct. Well done if you did. Okay class, we've done these questions before, but we're not getting it all right, and this should be an easy 2 marks. This was on a November 2022 paper. I'm going to write in purple. So remember, with indices you add the powers. In the brackets it's big maths, you do brackets first. So -5 add 8 will give us 2 cubed squared. Now squared actually means this, the same thing multiplied by itself. So you should know that's 2 to the power of 6, and that's leaving it as a power of 2. That is quite easily done. I'll do one more. So this simplifies to a to the power of 2 to the power of 4. Now the quick rule is when you have a bracket you multiply the powers, so that is a to the 8, and we've left it as a power of a. Right, now just pause the video and give the other 2 a go, so you make sure you can ace this. and hopefully you got all those correct, and that's another 2 marks in the pocket. And these are very easy to do if you remember, and you just remember the laws of indices. Right, well done. Let's look at this grade 7 question, question 19. Solve 6x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. I mean, you can factorise this, that's a skill at grade 7, but it's actually easier just to use the quadratic formula, because you've got the highest power of x here is squared, and you can use the quadratic formula, which is in the formula booklet. So remember the quadratic formula, it should be in the formula booklet. This is it. How I would always do this on the calculator is use your fraction button. Start with your minus 5. Let's do the plus first. Do the square root 5 squared minus 4 times 6 times minus 6, then divided by 2 times 6, press equals, and you get 2 over 3. That is your first answer, 2 over 3. Let's write this down. So x equals 2 over 3. That's going to get you some marks, and this should get you a method mark or a process mark here. Now let's go back to the calculator. So you don't have to type the formula in again. You should be able to just go back on the arrow key and just change this sign to a minus. Press equals again, and then you've got minus 3 over 2 is your next one. Quite easily done. So let's write that in. X equals minus 3 over 2, and that's 3 out of 3 marks, because that's a 3 mark question on a grade 7 question, and that's going to really help. And when you're good at this, that's marks in your pocket. Can you try questions 3, 4 and 5? Remember to round correctly. I'm going to pause the video and you can give it a go. Hopefully you got your answers down, and I'm going to show you the answers on the next screen. Here they are. Remember to round to 1 decimal place and 3 decimal places, 3 significant figures correctly. And you can do this, and that's another 3 marks in your pocket. You can really do it. It is not difficult really, you've just got to recognise it. Right, let's look at these questions, just because not everyone aced it, and I know you can. So here's an equation of 2 straight lines. Oscar says that these are parallel. Is Oscar correct? Now what do we know about parallel lines? Can you remember? If you do, well done. Parallel lines have the same gradient. Now remember, equations of lines are in the form y equals mx plus c, with m as the gradient. So this gradient, that's like a 1x, so that gradient is 1. Now that is not in the form of y equals mx plus c, but if we divide both sides by 6, we're going to get y equals 3 over 6x plus 7 over 6, because you divide each term by 6. Now we know 3 over 6 is a half, so that becomes 0.5x plus 7 over 6. You must give a reason for no, so not parallel. Gradient is different. And you were very good at this in class when we did it as well, but you might have forgotten. Now just try the other 2 question 9s for me. I'm going to pause the video and let's see if you've got that correct. So let's highlight. I've divided both sides by 4 to get this equation of a line, which simplifies to this. So you can see this gradient is 1.5 here. This line is a gradient of 2, So they're not parallel because they have different gradients. This gradient is 2 here for this line. That's in the form y equals mx plus c. Let's make this in the form of y equals mx plus c. So we divide by 6. We can see this has a gradient of 2 now. So they are parallel as they have the same gradient, which is your reason for your answer. And you see that's another 2 marks, an easy 2 marks. And you can definitely do this. Well done. Now let's look at question 13. It says give your answer to 1 decimal place. I believe once I explain this you'll be very good at this. So imagine -4, 6 as a coordinate and 6 minus 5 as a coordinate. So I'm just going to draw that 2 points. I'm going to change colour. Let's just draw this here. -4, 6. So imagine that's the coordinate -4, 6. 6 minus 5 is going to be further across, and that's further down, but it's not to scale. But that's 6 minus 5, alright? Now, imagine we can make a right angle triangle out of this if this was on a coordinate. Now you get a right angle here and you need the length of line, that's A, and this is B, and you want to find the length of this line. Now we know we can use Pythagoras theorem here. So if you think this x coordinate is -4 and this x coordinate 6, how do you get from -4 to 6 in taking steps? Can you see that that difference, that length there is 10 steps to the right? Now if you do the y coordinate, which is 6 to -5, I know this is not to scale, that difference, that height there, would be 11. So essentially you're doing a triangle like this. And let's just use some better measurements. That's a width of 10, that's a height of 11, and then you can use Pythagoras theorem, which is 10 squared plus 11 squared, and you square root your answer. So let's just get the calculator out. 10 squared plus 11 squared equals 221. 221 square root 221 equals, so we can just do square root answer because that will square root the last answer in the calculator. Press your SD button. That's 14.86. 1 decimal place is 14.9, and it is in centimeters because they say it's a centimeter grid. Right, pause the video and see if you can get the other 2 correct. Right, hopefully you got those correct after I've unpaused the video. I'm just going to go through it again so you could probably see here the difference between -7 and 8 is 15, so that length is 15 between those 2 lines. The horizontal line and the vertical, 6 to -5 is 11. It's Pythagoras theorem because that will make a right angle triangle. So we square these numbers to get 3, 4, 6, and then we square root it to get 18.6 because that is the opposite the right angle, which is the longest side. Now there is a formula for this if some people prefer using formulas, but I don't think you need it if you understand what you're doing, which is, it's called the length of line segment, and what you do is you subtract the second x coordinate from the first x coordinate. So for here it will be 8 minus -7, which gives you this 15, and you square it, and then y squared, the second y coordinate is -5, -6, which give you a -11, but -11 squared will turn into a positive 121 anyway, and then you square root the final answer, and I've just missed that out, and this is the whole thing square rooted, and you can do that as well, and that's a formula method for it. But hopefully you got those two right, and that's a nice grade 6 to 7 question, and well done, you've aced that. Just doing that now, that's going to push you up at least a grade, maybe